happy birthday to me. That's all I got.
Hey, is it your birthday?
No, it's not even close.
You know what? We will take that.
That's it.
Dan, thank you very much, man, for opening up the show with a little happy birthday tune. Jim, we are back at Caruk Hall.
Yes, yeah, back in the old boardroom.
The old boardroom, the big, massive, brand
The
new
old
boardroom.
6-month-old boardroom.
The old one. Yeah.
And we are going to talk, I guess, one of my favorite four-letter words in construction. HVAC.
Starts with an H.
What, you got nervous there, Dan, for a second?
Yes.
No, it's not that kind of show. It's not that kind of show. So we've got Dan here from Tropical Heating and AC, www.tropicalheatinghvac.com. That was easy.
That was easy. That's all you're
Sound
getting.
right. That's it.
That's all you're getting.
I got Jim on the other end there, and let's talk a lot about HVAC. But before we do that, I got a little construction history.
Oh, he's always got his history.
Uh-oh.
I got a question to ask you, Dan. Just before off mic, you were saying that you don't expect GCs, so that's Jim and myself not to know what you know regarding HVAC. So I want to know, can you tell me when central heat and air was invented?
I believe, I think Mr. Lennox invented heating. No, eh? Mr. Carrier?
This is going way back. This is going Massachusetts, 1816. That's when someone first invented a central heating furnace, gravity type, later commonly seen, and it was said to have been invented in 1835 officially in Worcester, Massachusetts. I didn't think it was that far back.
Boiler or forced air?
This was a forced air system. A central heating furnace is what they called it. So in the 1920s, kitchen stoves were the source, right?
Fireplaces.
Yeah. When did does become commonplace? It was 1830s. It became a commonplace, and that was in London. And it was March Perkins, the one that came up with that in Britain. And then I also want to ask you guys, when was air conditioning? When did it first come?
That was Carrier that invented the air conditioner, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was Carrier, but they don't tell me who. But it
50s?
was 1970s is when it started really kicking in, and it was post World War II. But it was 53. That's when it officially started, right? And then, who actually invented the first underfloor heating system? Now we're going way, 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 way back.
Underfloor. So we're talking about
Like
the Romans and the Greeks. With
That's
the hot
exactly
water.
who it was. The Romans, man. They're the ones that first came up with it, distributing heat lines from underground fire. And that's how it got beneath the floor.
Interesting.
I didn't even know there would be a test. So I would have studied.
It's not a test. It's just some construction history. So we want to get a lot more HVAC going. So Dan, over to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the business, how long you've been in the business.
My whole life, tropical heating and air conditioning's been at it for about 30 years now, over 30 years. Tropical Heating's myself and two brothers that own the company. Boy, we've been working for Jim for over 20.
Oh, yeah, I'd say in 25.
Wait, so is it three siblings here?
Yeah, three brothers.
Three siblings are all doing HVAC?
All doing HVAC.
And the sons now.
And the sons are doing it?
Oh, yeah.
How did that all happen?
So I was cleaning my neighbor's pool when I was 19 years old, and he knew I was finishing high school, and he asked me what I would be doing after school, and I said nothing. I had no idea what I would be doing. And he offered me an apprenticeship in refrigeration, so I started working at 19 years old in the trade for Deary Contracting, a DCR. They're still around. And my fourth brother, who's not in business with us, still works for them. So the whole
What's
family.
he, a plumber?
Heating.
He's in heating
HVAC,
too?
Yeah.
Separate business?
Separate business, production housing. So we're more custom homes, renovation type work.
So how was that first go at it when you were doing the apprenticeship?
I was refrigeration apprentice doing production housing, and it was very just slap it in, haphazard. There was no rules. Learn on the job. That's how air conditioning was done back then. It was
How long ago we're talking about here? 90s?
Yeah. Boy, 40 years ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys the same age?
I'm about to turn 60.
Oh,
Yeah.
Youngin.
Still
Youngin'.
young.
jeez.
So that's how it was done back in the
That's
day.
why I was singing happy birthday.
I got it. Got it.
60's the new 40, just so you know, man.
Hey, well, I feel like I'm 30, but until I walk by the mirror, then I realize I'm not anymore.
So the brothers are younger, older? What number are you?
I am the youngest of the ones in business with me. So, but we're all a year apart. We're Italian twins, even though we're not Italian.
What exactly does that mean, Italian twins? I don't know.
assume Mom and Dad were really busy
I don't
for a
know.
little
Any
while.
Italians listening,
Yeah.
they can send me a DM and just let me know what exactly that means, because I've heard it before, but I don't know what it means. But now the kids are getting into it.
So
Who's who? Like every one of you guys and the sons are getting into
our
it?
sons are getting into it, yes. My brother Bob, who runs our service departments, got two of his boys. Steven's working in the office, Curtis in the field, and my son Nathan's in the business, and Dave's son, Trevor's in the business.
I'm trying to picture family get-togethers and what you guys chat about.
Heating and air conditioning.
Remember when we did we were doing a little filming and we had the whole family.
The whole family was behind us. I know.
Right.
And I just realized that. Yeah. So that's the whole family was there.
Working on their hands and knees in the basement.
So that's where the Italian, it's the whole familia. That's what's going on there, right? Okay. So you guys are handling, why HVAC? Why'd you guys go to HVAC?
Because I had a neighbor in the HVAC
That was
business.
it. That was the reason why.
That was the whole reason. So, yeah, obviously I enjoyed it. They went off and did other stuff, and then finally they needed a job, so they came and worked for Deary Contracting, and then eventually we wandered away and started doing our own stuff.
HVAC has changed a lot, no? In 40 years? Or has it changed?
Some parts of it, the sheet metal really is the same thing, but the equipment's quite a bit different because of efficiency ratings nowadays.
Energy guide and all this other stuff, right?
Yeah, so everything's very, very efficient, high efficient. And a lot of the stuff we're doing now is hydronics as well, and some of the higher end houses with radiant floor warming and Snowmelt systems.
I've always been I want to get into all this. I want to get into forced air and radiant and Snowmelt. I want to talk a lot about those details. I find it really interesting that North America is the only place, I guess, in the world that does forced air. Am I wrong on that, or is Australia does forced air?
I
don't know.
travel enough to know.
I think
Is
well,
it?
all of Europe is radiant, is boilers.
Is that
Most.
because they don't need air conditioning as much as...
Oh, that's ductless units, right? So we're all coming
Yeah.
from Asia, but that's how they handle their AC. But I know that forced air as a system is a North American system.
Is it really a North
it's
American
it's
thing?
not a European. It's not an
Yeah.
Asian. I think there is forced air in Australia. So it's just I thought it was interesting because what would you prefer? What do you have in your house, Dan?
A forced air ducted, because you have to have air conditioning.
Yeah.
And then you want to be able to control it. Nowadays, you got zoning systems, so you can really control where you send the forced air to and what temperature you want it to be.
So gone are the days of walking down the basement and it's freezing, going upstairs to the bedroom and it's hot because of the summer and all the
It
AC.
doesn't have to be that way anymore. And
No.
these guys insulate the houses so well, it's easy to control where you're sending the heat to.
But, saying that, the zoning that we do, not everybody still does it, right?
No, that's really a high-end
It's an option.
home, like a custom home.
That's not even
type
part of the
thing.
building code.
No, not
No.
at all.
Like an R2000 doesn't even request that, right?
No.
Which is, we
I
all
don't
agree.
know. Probably
No.
doesn't back then.
No, I don't think they
No.
do. No, OBC, I don't think they, and what is the max? It's like 3,500 square foot house, one furnace, depending on the size of the furnace. But
You can get up to 4,500 square
Yeah.
feet now.
4,500 square feet on one furnace?
On a single
Yeah.
furnace.
You're pushing that air from one location on a 4,500 square foot house all the way to the furthest locations,
Yeah.
really getting that air.
The
Well,
house
we'll
that we
do,
did for me a couple of years ago, we did it with Owens Corning and
Yeah.
everything else. So we did it, sealed from the outside. And
That's where the benefit is.
The net zero ready. No, originally we had the house was designed with 2 furnaces, and then we redid it. Dan put 1 furnace in, zoned it all. The house was 3,800 square feet above, and then I had the walkout, and the basement was another 2,000. So let's just say 5,800 square feet of living space.
Wow.
And how big was that thing? 80,000?
Yeah, I think it was 100,000 BTU furnace, but it's modulating these
Right.
days, so it's
How
never.
many zones did you create?
We just did 2 zones.
Okay.
We
So
did it-
basement and main floor, one zone, and no.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And then a designated trunk line
For upstairs.
goes all the way to the attic and does the upstairs from above. Again, because of spray foam, you can now put ductwork in the attics and not worry about ice damming and other things that come with that heat loss going through an attic.
You guys have to paint seal all your ductwork before it gets spray foamed?
Yeah, that's code now.
Yeah. So
as
what are they
well.
asking for? I haven't done that yet, that system yet. I've done the hot roof system before where you actually spray foam underneath the sheathing and not the attic space.
Yeah.
But what are they asking on the ductwork? What's the thickness of foam?
They're just asking for R12 on the ductwork, even if it's not a hot roof, which to me is wrong. It
That
should be
seems
higher.
low.
Yeah.
Low.
We always insist on R20, 2 passes, at least R20.
Because an a hot roof, you're asking for, isn't it R50? Or is it R30?
31?
R31. Sorry,
31.
R31.
Yeah.
On a hot roof, yeah.
Yeah. So then they're asking for R12 on the ductwork?
On the
Why
ductwork.
not ask R31 for the ductwork?
I think they're going to change that code because it does seem wrong.
Do you know, are you familiar with, like I'm Jim, are you familiar with the national versus the Ontario Building Code? And I've always joked about it's like the summer and winter Olympics.
It pretty much is. Yeah.
Like we're always 2 years behind what they're doing in the national, and the national's not applicable when it comes to anything that's being built here in Ontario, Toronto. And you try to bring up good ideas that are in the national and they won't even review
Look
them
at
or
'em,
consider
yeah.
them.
Right.
Right. So isn't that is it frustrating for you for the inspection when they come in, or they just?
No, because we only have to
really
deal
don't.
with Ontario, right?
But if they're doing something smart on the national side, and why can't we implement? And we know that maybe in 2 years it's going to be implemented in the Ontario Building Code. Why not start doing it now?
We are on Jim's houses.
But
But you
we
guys
really
are doing. That's what I mean.
That's
You're-
our standard is what we just talked about a little while ago about being an option with all the zoning. Remember when we were talking to Rob?
Yeah.
He even said, he goes, the last guy that quoted, it was X amount of dollars for HVAC. And I knew, when I went with Jim that it was going to be more, but this is why it's going to be more. And
How much more are we talking about here? Like, let's just apples and apples.
To put a zoning
to
system
put a
in a house
zone-in
would-
system.
$4,000 to $5,000 more.
But an HVAC bill generally on a 5,000 square foot house is generally what, 50, 60K?
You're going to be 35 plus all the extra bits.
Yeah, all the
and
extra
pieces.
stuff, right? And
Yeah.
so you're adding 10% more to the budget to create a
Yeah.
zone, which is going to make a much more comfortable home.
I liken it to my dad, and when he got air conditioning in the car, we used to always say, why don't we have air conditioning on our car? And he'd go, because you can roll down the window. Why would you need air conditioning in your car? But as soon as you put an air conditioner in your car, now you can't go back. Now you know why you need that. So zoning systems are the same. Jim will never live in another 2-story house without zoning and a thermostat in the master bedroom, so he can make the master bedroom cold as he wants on a hot summer day.
You think it's ever going to get to the point like cars where you got the passenger and the driver and you can control either side of the bedroom?
well, I don't know about that, but I mean, you're kind of doing that now with the main floor and the second floor.
You're totally doing that.
Yeah.
And you're technically speaking, you're supposed to make your bedrooms cooler at night when you're sleeping, right? You don't want it to be a high temp at night.
It's whatever
It's whatever you
comfortable
want.
with.
That's all
right?
it is, right?
Yeah.
Control. Just you want to have the ability to make it whatever you want, and your personal preference changes day to day as well.
New subdivision homes are a little different, right? I mean, we're doing custom stuff, so everything now is like 10-foot ceilings, 9-foot.
That's huge volume in a
that's
room
huge,
now.
And that all has to be taken into account for.
Yeah.
Right? So,
And then you got to try to educate, like you guys are doing all the HVAC designs?
Yeah,
most.
We'll do yeah.
the layout, and then we'll give it to a HVAC designer who does permit applications. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times we'll get drawings from the architect, and they'll have their guy do it. They'll get the permit. We usually just there's a couple HVAC engineers, designers that we already know of that we don't like how their systems work. So we just basically just crunch it up and throw it in the garbage, and then Dan comes in. He'll usually come in after we got it framed and then look at the whole place, and then they'll design it. You know, because then you'll know, okay, where do we want a bulkhead? Where do we tell them we don't want one there? You know,
How can we run
get
it?
around it? Right?
Yeah.
The original design's a guideline, and then once we see what we're working with in the house, we'll move everything around and redesign.
I mean, but I've seen inspectors really stay strict to that HVAC
Absolutely.
design. Once it's got that stamp on it, they're like, it's supposed to be exactly like this.
But we get our own stamp. We
you'll have
revise
to
it all.
you'll have to trump their stamp originally.
yeah.
Because once you get on site, things change. Framing
Always.
changes. Stuff changes. So you might also find a better route to run certain lines. But I mean, I'm surprised that a lot of you guys don't even do 4-inch lines anymore, right?
No, small.
I haven't
to
seen
washroom.
anybody do a 4-inch line. I think the smallest is 5, right?
5-inch,
And
6-inch.
But
yeah.
most lines are 6-inch.
Yeah, to keep it quiet, you gotta put the ductwork in a little bit larger, and then it'll keep the system quiet for you. So usually people will say to me, "I don't feel any air moving them around my house. How come I don't have any air velocity?" I just ask them if are they comfortable, and they go, "Yeah, I'm comfortable." Well, don't worry about blowing air.
You're not trying to play, like, you're not trying to build a Maxwell stereo commercial here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, where
Like,
you're
you don't
blowing
need
the
that
guy
kind
around.
of velocity, right?
Yeah.
You want it to be quiet, don't you?
Quiet system, yeah.
You don't want to hear
Bigger
the
ductwork.
jet engine coming through the ceiling.
Well, they got high velocity systems now in some of the
And you can hear
row
them.
housing, and they're noisy.
So what exactly is a high velocity? That's got something to do with water, doesn't it?
No, it's just air. They're going to force more air through a smaller duct,
Through like a 3-inch, right?
2 and 3 inch.
What's
And
the purpose of that?
the only thing I can think of is to keep costs down. And
Really?
That's it. It's not the way you should be heating your house. It works well for air conditioning if you're just adding cooling to the attic, and you can just put in a high velocity cooling system in
Like
the
a
attic.
space pack.
Space pack.
That's basically, so
exactly what it
what
is.
are they, 3-inch holes or something? No,
2-inch holes.
2-inch holes.
Yeah, but they're insulated pipes, so it works out to about a 4-inch round pipe. So I don't think they really save that much space.
Would you prefer that over the ductless units? Because I'm not a fan of how pretty the ductless units look in a house.
Ductless units are strictly spot cooling. You got one room that you're just trying to air condition, and you're not worried about the rest of the house. You got a home theater, and you want to just cool it when you got 20 people in there for Super Bowl party. You need a ductless air conditioner, but other than that, they're not recommended. Visually, no, don't look too
I have
good.
yet to meet a client who actually likes the look of a ductless unit.
No, they're horrible. And then on the outside, it's even worse.
Yeah, because you're running all the line
Yeah.
sets, right?
Yeah.
And the drain.
Like you said, that's a European kind of thing.
It's a
Those
completely
things are
European
everywhere,
thing. I mean, all the homes are concrete, most of them.
Yeah.
So they're boilers, but they still have to deal with AC because it gets warm.
Yeah, but they're not a 4,500 square foot house.
No,
It's,
they're a lot smaller, right?
Yeah.
I actually recently, we just had one installed by an HVAC guy who's, I don't know, I call him the butcher.
There's a few.
There's
of
a
us
lot
there.
out there, yeah.
But we actually ended up not going with a ductless unit on the wall. The client found one that went into the ceiling. But I've never seen that. It has 4 louvers on it. It's basically like this big pancake, like 2-foot square.
Cassette, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
sits on the
cassette.
ceiling.
Yeah,
Yep.
are they any good or what? Because we haven't even seen it operate. I don't even know how it's going to work.
Same application. Same.
Okay.
Everything's the same. It just looks different. That's all.
There's like an eye on it as well, like a camera. It detects people or motion or something like that.
That's really high tech now.
It was really weird. One corner has this camera on it, right? And I'm like, what's that looking at? What's going on here? And it's supposed to detect motion and what's going on because there's
And it
4
comes
louvers.
on?
I haven't seen it operate yet. And we're going into winter now, so I won't
Probably
hear
won't see it operate.
until like the
What,
spring
what
or
room
something.
did they put that in?
In
Like
the
what?
master.
In the master bedroom. Yeah.
Because they didn't have any more walls. All the walls were taken up with stuff.
Jesus, if there's
But
a lot of
that,
motion in there, that thing's going to be going off and on.
I don't know. I won't talk about that.
Or not.
Might be quiet.
You can't look too pretty on the ceiling in the master bedroom either.
It's okay looking. It does look very commercial. I mean,
Yeah.
it's almost flush to the ceiling, but I guess like they went that route to get rid of the look of the ductless unit. But
No,
it's,
they got
It's
that
still
look.
there. Yeah.
it's still there. That's the thing, and it's right at the main entry. So as soon as you step into the room, it's right there, and it's kind of weird. So
It's ideal for like a renovation if they just want to make sure the master bedroom's going to be cold on the hot summer day. It'll do that. I mean, it'll work well.
Yeah, and that's facing south, the back, isn't it?
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
I remember now.
And then it's got
all
a pocket
glass.
door entryway, and so it's actually pointed into the hallway, so it can feed the back of the house where the office is. But you'd have to leave the doors open for any of that air, and it's easily a 12-foot throw. I don't know
attic.
how much.
There's no attic, right?
There's no attic, flat roof. So it's literally up. I mean, we had to carve out. No inspections are listening to us right now, but we had to carve out some of the foam to make it fit because it was
Yeah.
way too tight, right? We were dealing with 2x12 TGIs, and then there was the slope on it, so there was an extra 2-3 inches of there. But then we still had to put the R31 and then put the cassette in there, right?
Wow.
So I don't know how it's going to work. We'll find out in the summertime.
A new build or renovation?
This is a renovation, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're good for, right? You
Okay.
Squeeze them into tight spots and
Well, it was a bungalow, pretty much a new build up.
Yeah, I mean, a
Yeah,
few
just
walls
a-
were left. That's all it was. But technically speaking, it's a rental.
yeah.
It's not a new build. But
Right, right.
I always try to put the proper amount of ductwork in the proper spot and make sure you're going to be comfortable without having to supplement with a ductless system or a high velocity or anything else, right?
Isn't it better to? I mean, even though if you go radiant and you're choosing to go that way, heating things, still have a furnace to take care of that AC
Yeah,
requirement.
you have to have
Well, you need a
that
handler,
ductwork.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you still have to have your HRV. You still have to move air in the house. So
Filtration,
all that stuff.
humidification.
Otherwise, you're just putting in air. You're putting in HRV, but then you also have to run all your lines to the HRV when you can actually use your furnace lines
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
same time.
So we get people asking about quality of air these days, right? With the COVID going on, filtration, humidification, and then they're putting radiant heating systems in their home. You still got to move air in the background and clean the air and cool it or temper it, HRV, bring in fresh air. So even though you're doing radiant heating systems, you still got to put all that ductwork in for that other stuff that's going on.
But a lot of homeowners don't realize that there's a lot of servicing that goes on to all these machines, like those HRV filters. I remember having a conversation with a client; they didn't even know that they had filters there.
Yeah.
And
so-
those filters are supposed to be cleaned every what? They say 3 to 6.
If you did it once a year,
Once
we'd
a
be
year.
thrilled. Yeah.
Oh,
A lot
really?
of people ignore it completely.
I was told 3 to 6, but you're saying once a year?
If you did it every 6 months, that's probably what the manufacturer wants, and then we'll go once a year. Your steam humidifiers require canisters be changed out in them, and they're $250 each. So, yeah, it adds up pretty quick. And even the filters they're not 1-inch thick filters anymore. They're 4 and 5-inch thick filters.
For the HRVs?
No, for your
Furnaces,
inline
yeah.
filters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're like travel cases now, man.
Yeah.
They're huge now. Remember?
But they should be. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to get something about 4 or 5 inches thick just to do anything as far as cleaning the air goes. So,
So Dan, just talk a little bit more about the steam humidifier, because a lot of people would just look at the old drum style, not everybody puts in a steam.
no.
And you
it's
don't,
better, right?
Way better.
It's
Yeah.
way better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old it's part of the problem is the square footages. So you're getting up there 4,000 square foot home with a single furnace. The old flow through humidifier is not going to make it. You put in a steam humidifier and it'll be whatever humidity you want it to be. Keeps your all Jim's houses got so much crown molding and finishing in them that all starts to crack if you let the house dry out. So steam humidifiers now are really important on some of the bigger houses.
We put them in that same project there. It was the first time that I ever got a chance to take a look at it. Yeah. So I haven't seen it operational either because the butcher's still working on it, right? So I don't know what's going on there. And he doesn't listen, but the homeowner listens, right? So
Good, man.
I just call him the butcher because he just has no regard for drywall or framing or anything. Like, you know, he could be chapping away at a LVL and not realize, oh yeah, I can put my ductwork through there. I'm like, no, you can't.
You've got my phone number, right? If you never need...
I do. But so the thing is that you guys come in first because my basic theory, what I've learned is you need to make the biggest holes.
Yeah, we always want to be first in, and then we're respectful of the plumber's drain lines.
Because that's the second guy that comes in, and he's got the second set of big lines, right?
And his shit goes downhill, so it's very important where his lines go. So that's the most important. We stay out of his way for that, but yeah, we want to be first in.
So where are the culprits in homes that are, like when you're building new homes here, where are the failures when it comes to Drafty Homes? Because the purpose of an HRV is to have a designated area, 2 spots, where fresh air comes in and stale air goes out. But where are we failing when we build homes?
Sealing of the homes.
The windows, the protrusions, right?
Got to be.
Yeah, around the windows are the end plates in the basement, but now the spray foam in the end plates has really done a good job on that.
But again, not everybody does that, right?
No.
You're not going to get that done in a subdivision home.
No, not at all.
That's home, right?
Not on production housing. It's all cost driven. So yeah, they're a little more air blowing through them. When you get into the custom homes, they're really tight builds, and the HRV is like having a window open. That's your fresh air. So they're really important that you're introducing some fresh air into the house.
And then do you guys also get involved in doing the whole blower air door test and get all that stuff done? And
we did that on my house when we did it.
Yeah, show the results, and because you can actually. It's really funny. I got a message today. I can't remember his name, but a contractor from Sweden. He just discovered the podcast, and he was like saying it's good to hear that you guys have the same problems that we do in construction. But to be honest, your building envelope, you guys are about 30 years behind us.
Oh, probably.
I know, and I totally agree with him, right? And he was like, keep up the podcast, keep up the information. I love listening to it, and I love that someone there that's building a little better than us is reaching out and taught and listening to the show, right? But they are. So Canada is not. Are we better than the U.S.? I don't know. Are we building better than the U.S.? I'd like to.
Well, we're different climates too, right? I mean, in different parts for sure. But I think getting the new Net Zero Ready program is that's pretty much our standard now, and it does cost a little bit more. But at the end of the day, it's so energy efficient. Like it's crazy.
It saves a little bit more in the end.
I spent $1,100 on gas in 14 months, and that was 14 months was on 2 winters on that house that we did.
Wow.
I've actually been told that I have to get my head around the fact that smaller units are doing bigger houses, because I'm always thinking you need, a 5-ton air conditioner for 5,000 square feet, and nowadays you're building them so tight that you don't
need that values. Much.
So the designers these plans are coming out, and I'm questioning them every time. Is that enough air? Is there enough ductwork going to these locations? And if you build the house that well, you don't need to run as much ductwork or put in these big giant systems.
I got a question for you, Dan, since you're an HVAC guy. Why is it that you don't use duct tape on ductwork?
We do.
Duct tape?
Not the cloths. The metal tape.
No, the metal tape.
Yeah.
The metal tape I love, but why is duct tape not used on duct work? I've always asked an HVAC guy this, and this is the response that I get all the time. So who calls it, or did they just call it duct tape? That's all it was.
I
think it's probably
maybe it was used on ductwork years ago.
One time,
But it dries up and
it
falls
dries out.
up.
Yeah.
So we use.
You prefer the tape or the paste?
You're going to paste I like to see the corners all pasted and the round pipe all taped.
Yeah, because what's the theory that you lose how much
20% of your air can be lost out of a loose system that hasn't been sealed up. So
20%.
yeah, and if you're doing zoning systems, you really want to make sure the air is going where you'd like it to go, or just air leakage out of the system can be a problem. Even with insulating, it can start to condense at all these leaks as well. So.
And what's the theory on the elbows? Every time you put an elbow on, you're adding an extra 10.
About 15 feet of pipe.
15 feet. I thought it was 10
so
feet.
You don't want to stack elbows on top of each other. So good duct practices go a long way when you're trying to deliver air a long way in these big houses too.
And then am I fair to think that if you're an HVAC, you should never be a one-man shop?
What do you mean by
Like a one-person trade? Like there's lots of trades on the job sites that are one-person trades. Like a trim guy can come in and be a one-person trade.
Right.
Sometimes even plumbers could be one-person trade. But I think HVAC should be a team, should be a crew. That's what I
don't know how else you would do it.
Yeah, we always send out crews. It's pretty rare. I don't like to send a guy out by himself.
Just by himself, right? Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Maybe if you're a tech,
Yeah.
that's about it.
No,
right?
tech and servicing, that's different. But actually
Yeah.
installing and setting up a system and everything like that, it should be more than one person doing this job, right?
Oh, yeah. You need somebody holding.
When you get into the big duct work too, you
Yeah.
need two guys just to wrestle the piece in place. And the safety, you're working off ladders. You don't want to have a guy by himself on a site, that's for sure. But there's a lot of aspects to our job. It's not just sheet metal. I mean, there's venting, there's gas pipe,
Gas lines, yeah.
Everything. We touch everything.
You guys
Wiring,
sometimes
power.
get the dirty looks because you basically touch everybody's trade. You guys got to hook up the power, which belongs to electricians, but you guys are allowed to do it, right?
Yeah, on the air conditioning, the outdoor units. We're working with 240 volts. We're licensed there. Gas piping to all the appliances as well as
water,
the heating. Touching the plumbing, venting of the appliances. And then we get into all of the controls as well. So it's a bit of everything.
Home automation. Now you guys are stopping on their toes, right?
We try not to interact with the home automation
We've had battles.
What? Okay, so you got all the new tech that's going on with HVAC now, the whole systems now, how it's all Wi-Fi. And then, so thermostats are supposed to be at what height?
Do you have a Wi-Fi thermostat in your house?
Do I have one?
Yeah.
No, I still have an old school beat up Honeywell thing that sometimes pops off and the system's off and then I got to push it back on. That's what I have.
Everybody wants a Wi-Fi thermostat in their house, but I'm not sure anyone uses it.
No.
It looks great. It's pretty cool on your phone, but I'm not sure you're going to your phone and changing the temperature in your house all the time.
Are you talking about the Nest ones or Ecobees?
Nest or Lennox has a slick system. They're pretty nice. So.
Yeah. So what are you guys using mostly? You guys are using Linux, right?
We do everything
mainly,
Linux, yeah.
Linux.
Yeah.
Like how often should you be changing a furnace?
How often put in a new furnace?
Yeah.
A furnace should last you 20, 25 years.
And that's it.
If you're maintaining it correctly, yeah.
And that's that one service call a year, or is it more than one time?
Generally once a year. Some of our clients will want to see us in the spring as well as the fall. But usually you can come in once a year and air conditioning mode and check the furnace and the air conditioner all at the same time. As long as you're keeping the filters clean, as long as the homeowner has some sense of how to switch it over from one season to the next.
Yeah, I've always told clients that it's like, listen, the mechanical room, it should belong to the trade. Let them do the servicing. Let them come in twice a year, if not more, and just take care of the filters, clean this up, check it out, make sure everything's all good. So then you guys don't get into that pinch where all of a sudden it's a really cold night, minus 35, and the system goes down for whatever reason, right?
Yeah, an emergency. It's good to have a professional set of eyes looking at it. You're going to spot stuff that other people wouldn't notice.
Don't you like those clients that park all that stuff in front of your furnace? And around it and on top of it.
That's what the space is for. Golf clubs and skis, isn't it?
Suitcases, all kinds of boxes of everything. Oh, yeah.
And then when you show up to service it, they act like they didn't know you were coming or they would have cleaned the room out, right?
Wow, how did all that get in there? Yeah, no.
Or they put the cat litter box
I think
right beside
mechanical rooms nowadays have become like, if you got a guy that's kind of somewhat mechanically inclined, he'll bring his buddies down to the mechanical room and have a look at it because you got all got all the gas pipe nice and
Yeah, the
labeled,
manifold.
and then if you've got, radiant, you got all that, the manifold and all that stuff there. Like, it looks pretty impressive, right?
I've seen guys put diamond sheets plating
Yeah.
on the walls over the plywood.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you appreciate this, Dan, is that plywood, the mechanical room.
That's
Yeah.
all
We do
now.
not need drywall in the mechanical room. We need plywood.
Put up plywood, paint it all gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let us come in
And then put all your
our stuff
manifolds,
on
all
it.
your brackets,
Yeah.
line it all
Looks
up.
beautiful.
It looks great. Clean, organized, and brightly lit.
Yes.
Not the one little chain pole bulb. Not that anymore, man. Like, have a few lights in there to light up everywhere.
Yeah, it's really, after your kitchen, isn't it the most expensive room in the house?
Should be.
You should be showing that thing off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true, actually. If you think about it, when you put everything together, the actual furnace, the AC.
It runs the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always say the kitchen is the heart of the home. Okay, maybe this heart here, but
Yeah.
the actual, real heart that pumps all day long is the mechanical room. That's the thing that keeps it going, right?
For sure.
That's the problem. If you're comfortable in your house, you don't say anything that's expected, and as soon as you're uncomfortable, you yell and scream about that HVAC guy doesn't know what he's doing, right?
But that's generally the rule of thumb, no?
Yeah.
That's how it works.
I want to talk about manufacturers' standards, because you and I had this conversation last week about, BTUs will work. Let's talk about Snowmelt, that, the manufacturer will say, would you say about 115 BTUs per
square foot. Like, if you want to melt snow, when we first started melting snow 20 years ago, we were using a standard of 105 BTUs a square foot, and it would kind of work.
105 BTUs for 1 square foot of exterior surface.
Now we use 150 BTUs per square foot to melt snow.
But explain, as you went through the hard way to figure this part out, right?
Oh yeah, you could, and it depends how they build the driveway too. So if you're just putting down concrete and the pipe is an inch from the surface, you can kind of make that 105 BTUs work. But then you get a lot of clients calling you and they're saying, "Look across the street, my neighbor's driveway's nice and dry, and mine's not done till the end of the day." So if you use 150 BTUs a square foot, it'll make up for a lot of shortfalls in the toppings they put on top of the concrete as well, interlocking stones. Or if you get a slushy day rather than a snowy day, where it's just really wet snow, you can.
So what
go a
works
long way.
better then? Asphalt? Can you do it?
Yeah, you could do it in asphalt, absolutely, but just poured concrete.
I would assume poured concrete would be
No,
the
but
best.
do the poured concrete, and then I was just going to put the asphalt on. I mean, it's a cheaper way to do it.
As long as it's just a solid mass, you don't want anything that's going to absorb water.
So pavers, though.
We went through that
Pavers.
already.
Yeah,
Pavers are not good then.
they're okay. What's the type of sand they use?
Polymeric.
Polymeric,
sand.
hydraulic, whatever it is.
Yeah, so it'll harden or bond to the concrete. Keep the sand between the paver and the concrete as minimal, as thin as possible, and it'll work. There's tricks you can idle the slabs to make it react quicker, but then your gas bill is quite a bit higher. So there's things you can do to make them work, even if they're not installed correctly, but it comes at a cost.
Is this purely 100% just luxury? Or is this saving the environment by not salting or having to shovel, not having to plow?
Well, shoveling's not saving anything other than yourself.
Your body.
Heart attack.
It is a luxury item.
It's just
Totally.
purely luxury, right?
Totally.
Well, some people just don't have anywhere to shovel the snow to, so they have to melt it rather than there's nowhere to push it to with a plow, and then there's safety issues.
Ice.
Not so much
Yeah.
residents, but a hospital entrance, a driveway that is steep to garage door. You don't want to slide into that in the winter.
Are there rules regarding boulevards? Are you allowed to put the snow melt on a boulevard? Because technically speaking, that belongs to the city.
Yeah, you're not supposed to put it on the city right away, but traditionally we will put it there. We'll just isolate that loop. So if the city has to dig it up, you just shut off the one loop.
And has everybody ever put it in underneath the sidewalks?
Public sidewalk?
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody's tried,
I'm
but I don't
sure
know.
I don't think we
well, if you've
ever
got
have.
a boulevard, I just assume that your driveway is completely clear, but then you walk down and the sidewalk's full of snow and the boulevard's full of snow. And that would just irritate somebody who wants to spend the money to go with snow melt, wouldn't it?
The plow's going to push all the snow off the street
Right.
there anyway.
Right?
That's true. Huh? Well, all the more reason why you probably put the snow melter so you can melt that, because that's the hardest part of shoveling snow.
Well, that's going to be tough to melt, 2 feet
Yeah.
of plowed snow.
Block of ice.
Yeah.
You put some flamethrowers at the ends or something. I don't know. So is it really okay? How expensive would a double car driveway to snow melt?
I generally tell people that the cheapest snow melt system, $25,000 to $30,000. It'll get you 800 square feet, and then you're $20 a foot above that. The biggest residential boiler there is out there is about 400,000 BTUs. So once you go over that magic number,
400,000 BTUs. How big is that thing?
physically,
Yeah.
it doesn't look much different than the other wall hung boilers, right?
Really?
Yeah, 3 feet tall and a couple feet wide.
Really? It's just sucking more gas. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Your gas bill's
Through the roof.
not $1,100 a year.
No. What you
Maybe
save
not
on the
much.
house, you spend it on the drive.
Yeah, if you're used to heating your pool in the summertime, then it's about the same gas bill in the wintertime to melt snow. So
Ouch.
it's just a year-round gas bill instead of just the summer to heat your pool.
That's expensive, man. That's a lot of money. I'm sorry, but that's a lot of money.
It's a relative term. If you have a lot of money, and maybe it's not
Yeah.
such a bother or burden.
It's a luxury. Remember that.
Yeah.
I think it's a luxury.
Costs money.
It's I guess the clients that have the Lazy Susie driveways that are also snow melt driveways. Those are the ones you got to watch out for. That's just too much money being spent.
I don't even know what a lazy Susie
Susie.
is.
They have the driveways that are Lazy Susie, so when you park at home, it turns it around, so you don't have to back up your car.
Like a lazy Susan. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. A driveway like that
Spins you around.
spins the car around,
So
so
you don't have to
do it. It's like you think you're Batman or something. I don't know. That's
You
not
get some
true.
pretty bad driving if you can't back your car out of your own driveway.
Well, I think
That's
it's just
wild.
laziness. You don't
Yeah.
want to back up in the morning or something.
Bragging how much money you got.
That's showing off. That is totally showing off, right? I like HVAC guys that insist on putting a gas manifold in the HVAC in the mechanical room.
Yeah, like a
Because
home
it's nice
run
to bring the
system.
main line in there and then actually have all your gas stove, your gas barbecue, fireplaces all separate. So if there's ever any service or any issue, you just shut it off and you treat it like you treat your plumbing, right?
Yeah.
And everything's labeled what it is.
Yeah. Because gone are the days of just like a dog's breakfast up in the ceiling where there's all kinds of yellow pipe everywhere or hard pipe or whatever it is.
Yeah, if there's an issue, then you can just shut off the one appliance and the rest of your house. You still got your hot water and your heating, and shut off the fireplace if that's what's giving you the trouble, rather than closing everything at the meter and starting to open up walls and try to find out where the problems are.
How you guys are all TSSA approved and everything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just I got a little story to share where I was doing a job in Roncesvalles and the client didn't want, like, what's the standard now to run a gas line? About $350 or something like that, depending on how long of a run it is and how big the appliance is, right? It averages about $350,
I
right?
always
More
say
than
the
that.
average is $450, $500. Yeah.
So the client didn't want to pay that. We did the gas work that we had to do for the stove in the kitchen, but then they wanted to add another gas line to go to the backyard for the barbecue. So once my gas person, my HVAC person did the stove, the very next day he showed up, the client with his dad, and started cracking open the elbow and putting a T on and running a new line to the, and I just said to him, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, no, don't worry, we'll take care of it. It's our house, we could do it." And I'm like, "It's gas, man. What's wrong with you, man? Are you guys gas fitters? You guys certified?" No, we'll take care of it. So I was just curious, and I went to the TSSA, and they didn't do anything about it.
I think you're allowed to do whatever you want in your own house.
That's exactly what they said.
Yeah,
It's the castle, right?
Yeah.
But and then I said, what if they did something and the house exploded? He goes, well, then there'll be an investigation.
I think that's more of an insurance issue than
Yeah.
a licensing issue.
I found it really surprising.
I
that
do find it weird that anyone, first of all, would have the balls to do that, and unless you're experienced working with gas lines, right?
I mean, Jim, I'm sure you know this, right? There's certain clients that are just quite entertaining. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's their house, so they can do whatever they want.
Some of the stuff you see, especially with electrical, it's amazing what people will do in their own house and think it's perfectly
The Christmas tree,
safe.
the octagon,
Yeah.
the valley of octagon boxes. And then you're demoing for the first day and you open up the drywall and you look at that.
Yeah.
Octagon, octagon, octagon.
Dead rat. Octagon, octagon.
They use extension cords to wire behind the wall.
Right, yeah.
Zip
Cut the
cords,
plug
all
off.
kinds of stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is what burns homes down, man. And messing with gas, this is what causes an explosion. So
Yeah.
please leave it to a licensed fitter, right?
Yeah, especially gas lines. It's there's a lot that can go wrong, and it's a big mistake. When it goes wrong, it goes big.
Every new house now, we have to know how many gas fireplaces, how many
Yeah.
gas stoves, how many this,
Yeah.
what this, and this. So then Dan can call up the gas company and say, okay, we need 1 million BTUs
Some
coming
of
in.
these houses, yeah, 1 million
Right.
BTUs plus, right? Your melting snow, your domestic hot water, all the fireplaces.
Are you actually
fire
getting up
pits,
to a
and-
million?
Oh,
yeah,
we're on 1
lots.
million now. On the place you were on, we're up and over 1 million.
A million.
Yeah.
But you have a generator in there as well, and
Yeah.
there'll be 300,000 BTUs
there.
just there.
The heater for the pools.
Pool
another
heater's 300.
Holy
Yeah.
cow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of gas.
Then you
Yeah.
got 2 stoves or 3 stoves.
Yeah,
3 stoves he has?
3 stoves,
3 Wolf stoves.
and all the goodies that go with that too, right?
But so what's the calculations? The theory is that no homeowner's ever going to have every single appliance on at the exact same time using all that gas. So you won't be consuming 1 million BTUs at any
You still calculate it for that.
You calculate it
but
for
you'd
it.
have to be having a hell of a party, and the power would
the
go out.
pool and the barbecues and all the stoves and the generator,
Yeah.
everything going off. 1 million BTUs, man. What's that gas bill look like? Is it a phone book?
If you can afford the appliances, you can afford the gas bill.
True. If you're looking at $20,000 appliances, sure.
But I think that would be almost be the average now, is close to 1 million BTUs for the places that we're doing.
When you do the generator and the swimming pool heater, yeah.
Yeah, most homes are doing now. I mean, now the pools are going in, especially with COVID. You can't, everybody wants a pool, can't get a pool. So I'm sure that's going to be happening. Generators, we're roughing in all the time for the generators.
Is it it's always just put it in?
Rough it in, and then usually then it's in as soon as the house is finished.
What generators are you guys using? I've done 2 Generac ones.
Yeah, that's what mostly they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I remember doing the first test and all of a sudden shut it down and then it just like clicks right in and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, they come on every Wednesday at 1:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah. I know.
Are they for sump pumps mainly? People are worried about flooding.
No, Sump Pumps you can always do the redundancies, right? So you'll have the battery backup. You'll have the
but a
Wi-Fi
battery
notification.
will not do it.
But no, there's a second one that you can get the whole package now.
Okay,
with the
let's
Sump
just say
Pumps.
your house, your power's out for 4 hours. 2-3 battery packs will not do it.
They won't survive, eh?
Not if the thing's pumping. Some of these houses that we've done, the sump pump runs 24 hours a day.
They got that much water going on down there?
Yeah, Alexandra, I could show you a video of how much water is coming in on a Sunday with the sun blazing. No water out there. It's just pouring in.
So it's just the water table of where it was
For
built.
the water table, yeah.
That's all
we
it
have
is.
3. She's so worried about. She has 3. Our plumber put in 3 separate pumps. Now the pit is 3 feet wide by 6 feet deep.
That's huge.
It's an indoor swimming pool.
It's an
Yeah.
indoor swimming pool. Yes, she's petrified. And when it pours rain, it pours in. Crazy.
Do you guys agree with Sump Pumps?
Well, I don't know what else can you. I mean, they're making you put them in.
That's what I mean. Is they're making you put it in, right? But do you agree with it?
Well, the old days, they never had them.
No, well, the theory is that, okay, let's bring all the rainwater into our house that's waterproof.
I know.
And then let's shoot that rainwater out
Back
to
out.
a pipe.
So it just recirculates. That's all it does.
Just so then the infrastructure of the city doesn't have an overwhelming amount of water in it.
That's the only reason it is.
So that's why I don't agree with it, right? Because you're waterproofing a house properly. So let's say you're doing the foundation properly. You've got the weeper tile. You're doing everything proper, and then you're making the house building envelope tight, net zero, and all this other stuff. And now you're bringing water in, and then you have a flood. And then what happens, right? So it just says, and then it doesn't go off. What if it doesn't go off and kick in?
What's the hydraulic pressure on the foundation like if you don't relieve that? Is water going to find its way in if you don't have a sump?
If you got concrete and then you're actually putting a membrane and then you're putting drainage board and then you've got a gravel.
Yeah, there is no pressure.
There's
no pressure. It's
There's
just
no
all
pressure.
As long as you got the drainage
wicking
board.
away. Yeah.
You're wicking
that's what-
away.
yeah.
It wicks away from the foundation. But then now you've consciously brought water into a dry area. And then that battery doesn't work. And that's where the failure is. So she's got 3 batteries? Or
No, she has a generator. That's
3.
why she wants the generator.
Oh, so the generator just kicks in and then it
Yeah.
just takes care of it.
Yeah. If the generator failed and everything, she'd be done. It's a $7 million house.
Wow.
That's called an indoor swimming pool.
Indoor swimming pool.
Fills up
yeah.
the basement.
There's got to be a better way. Well, that's the other
I
thing.
mean, there's other places we built too that, are in areas like, up here, like in Etobicoke, there's a lot of sand. You can put a sump pump in, it's dry as a bone.
Yeah.
Like it'll never see water ever because it just all percolates right through the sand.
It does what it's supposed to do
Does it?
naturally.
If you have nice sand, right?
Yeah.
But not every place is like that. I mean, downtown, there's a lot of clay, so the water just sits. Once you dig for the foundation, it rains, you got your pool already. So you're pumping water out all the time, right?
I know that Sump Pump's more of a plumber thing, but is there an item in the HVAC world that you're not really a fan of?
The high velocity system is the one that
That's
I'm
the
not
one,
a fan
eh?
of. Yeah,
Really,
I'm
huh?
seeing more and more of those. I'm not.
Because they're not really efficient, right?
It's not about efficiency so much as comfort. They're noisy. They're breezy.
Oh, really, yeah?
Yeah. I don't think it's a necessary corner to cut. People keep selling them as compact and no boxing in your house, and it's just not true. You still got to put all that ductwork somewhere.
No, it usually goes in the attic, though, right?
Yeah, we hide them pretty good in the homes
Yeah.
we do with you, right?
Yeah, but the problem is that you start building homes that have the height restrictions, so then you've got a flat roof. Where do you hide it there? You can't
Yeah.
hide it there, right?
You got to get creative about your
Yeah.
ceiling heights on the second floor to hide all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little challenging at that time, right?
It's, You know what? If people would just give it up, like, when you do a 10-foot ceiling or a 9-foot ceiling, you're not going to notice 6 inches taken away.
No.
And you just drop the ceiling, period. Like if you can talk them into that and they let you do that, you can get the pot light placement perfectly. You can get the ductwork hidden away. You can get all the other shit hidden away. And you can have your flat ceiling. Just give up that much. That's all you got to do.
True.
But you get it in their heads, but you're never going to notice a difference once it's painted.
Well, it's like, okay, the friends and the family come over. We've got 10-foot ceilings. We have 10-foot ceilings on all 3 floors. Or you've got 3 floors? Well, why you have to walk 3 floors? I mean, who wants to walk 3 floors? That's just really insane. 4 floors, actually, technically, with the basement.
With the basement, yeah.
Yeah.
We've done houses with basements under the basements, 5 floors, 2 basements,
Really?
a basketball court down in the basement.
what are you building, Jim?
That's not bad. I haven't done that one yet.
A basketball court underneath the basement.
Yeah. With
11-foot, 12-foot ceilings have to be more.
20.
20,
It's got to be taller than that.
2 stories
your
underground.
Your net is 10
10
foot.
feet. That's right.
Yeah. So
It's got to be like quiet down there.
It's a big cavern. It's
Jesus.
You don't hear the ball like wood, hardwood flooring.
like a rubber floor, like
A
a
rubber
gym
floor.
floor. Yeah. And
Wow.
then one we're doing right now, all glass walls, 2-story tall wine cellar. 20-foot tall wine cellar, all glass wall.
What are we,
Beautiful.
in Vegas here? What's going on,
Some
man?
beautiful homes. Car elevators with underground garages.
So how do you heat those areas? Because you've got to heat and cool. No, you don't have to cool them. Or do you have to cool them?
Very little air conditioning, but a lot of fresh air. You gotta
Fresh
move
air. So
around.
you still have to
Yeah.
ventilate them.
Yeah, when you get a big space like that, if you can use radiant floor warming for heating it, and then just move air for ventilation.
What about the whole carbon monoxide with the cars?
The cars, you got to put a CO system in those garages, yeah.
What's a CO system? It's a whole separate system that's just basically sucking out the carbon monoxide?
Yeah, if the alarm goes off, it just circulates the air really quickly in the garage, yeah. An exhaust fan and an intake.
Well, because I mean, I'm assuming a car running for about 5 minutes is going to create quite a bit of carbon monoxide air, right?
If you're running your car down in the garage below ground, it's going to go off every time. Before you drive it onto the elevator and take it upstairs, it'll probably set up
The elevator.
the alarm.
The
And
car.
it's probably one of those, what do you call it? The
Lazy
lazy
Susan
Susan.
driving. the car elevator in the basement, it's underneath the basement. That's what a client
Yeah.
has.
Yeah. We did a house with you go down in the basement, you go into the washroom, and then there's a set of stairs that goes to a grotto underneath the basement floor that was a little swimming pool under the basement floor. It was pretty cool.
How many square feet was this house?
Maybe 4,500, 5,000 square foot, but
Deep.
Forest Hill.
Just went deep.
Yeah. You go down. You're not allowed to go up, right? There's height restriction.
Are there
but
restrictions going down?
There's no restrictions.
I guess
going
water table, that's the only thing that would, but even then you could still build to stop it, but you'd be pumping it
Well,
out.
the one I was just talking about with the sump pump going all the time. I mean, we were told that we were going to hit water probably around 5 or 6 feet, but we had an elevator in that one too, and then so we had to go down 12 feet. We hit it as soon as the guy said, there it was coming in, but we just keep going. You know, we had to de-water while we were working. We had all kinds of pits, so we forced the water to go there so we could work.
And you're pumping the water out.
Pumping the water out,
Constantly.
Pumping the water out when the sun's shining.
And then what are you doing? You're doing blind waterproofing at that point to get it dry?
One wall we had to do blind wall because we had shoring, so we had to shore, right? We were right up against the.
I'm fascinated that there's no restrictions going down, but restrictions going up.
That's right. There's no square footage ever worried about going in the basements. Never
Yeah,
counted.
I'm not too sure what the fire code is too. I think when you hit 5 stories, do you have to do fire rating of any kind vertically?
Vertically, if you go above, it's
Yeah.
4. Once you go
Is it
past
4?
4,
Is
isn't
it
it?
4?
4, you got to bring in a sprinkler system in, and you got to bring a secondary staircase to get out of the building, don't you?
An exterior,
Exterior.
maybe, yeah.
Once you go 4.
Over 4.
And then you need an elevator, right?
I don't think there's anything for the basement. I mean, there's got to be something.
There's got to be something. I've never stepped, it's got to be a challenge for you to run mechanical because it's got to be it's all concrete to begin with.
Yeah.
The perimeter's concrete.
Oh, everything has to come up from 30 feet down and start to exhaust on the main floor. So yeah, it's really challenging to
But
find.
there's got to be a riser there that just exhaust, right? You're going to have
Well, no one wants to give up that
Right.
square footage for your vent pipes to come up a corner
But you
of
have
a room.
to.
But you gotta find ways out of the pit and keep fresh air going in.
Let's talk about cars. What kind of cars were going up and down this elevator?
As soon as the house is built, I never get to go back in. Yeah,
They don't
so-
invite you in for servicing? No, for servicing.
My service techs get to go see the finished product. Yeah.
Oh, I'd be curious. Wouldn't you be curious on what kind of cars are?
Oh, come on, you just got to, you just know what they're going to be, right?
Italian, German. Oh, man, that's interesting. Maybe one day. But that's how you got started, Jim. No, you did the one underneath. You went underneath the house, right?
What do you mean?
One of the first houses that you did. You went right through the house to go to the back to do the addition.
Yes.
That's how your show started, wasn't it?
That's how the show started.
Yeah.
We had to
Went
go
right
under the
underneath.
house.
Were you ever on the show?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think I
Was
have
he on the
been.
show?
Lots.
Lots of times, eh? Well, I mean, you guys have been working how long now?
20 years. Probably came on right at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah.
Been on a few times.
Yeah.
Talked about Dryatron systems for indoor swimming pools
Pools,
and,
yeah.
on one of the shows, yeah.
That's a whole other
Actually,
world, right? Because you got to be careful about air movement in an indoor pool.
Yeah, he threw me under the bus on that show.
Did I throw you under the bus? Well,
What'd you say, Jim?
I can't remember.
He told me I wasn't allowed to tell the client what the dollar figure was going to be until the cameras were rolling. But yeah, you got to separate.
So, but there's
the
a
pool.
whole other world. Like I learned that when I was bidding on a job that had an indoor pool, and funny enough, in Lorne Park area, and he wanted to get rid of it to make it a studio. So there was all the HVAC and all the bells and whistles for this indoor pool, but then we had to change everything for his storage unit now, and literally fill up the pool. So there's a bunch of stuff that had to be. But then when you're building a pool on the inside, HVAC is paramount. Because if you don't do it right, you're literally going to eat the structure away from the inside out.
Everything will rot. Yeah.
Everything will rot, right?
Yeah, it's the chlorine in the air rots anything metal. So
Just
your
humidity. Dehumidifier, right?
Yeah, you just got to handle the moisture in the air.
Get
You got
rid of it.
You're constantly taking the moisture out of the air, dumping it back into the pool, and the pool's constantly putting it back in the air. You got to try and get the pool water temperature and the temperature of the room as close as possible. But pool water is 85 to 90 degrees, and your room is 75 degrees.
So you got to create a sauna.
That's what a Dryatron does. It constantly pulls that moisture out of the air and dumps it back into the pool.
It sounds cheap.
Oh, yeah. Again, if you can afford a pool in your house,
Inside the house,
you can afford the Dryatron.
you can afford that. Okay, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. What else do we know about HVAC?
What else don't we know about HVAC?
Yeah.
It's changing.
Yeah, it is ground source heat pumps. We've done
there you go.
You guys ever get into geothermal?
We've done a few of them. Yeah, it's
What
not
are your
a
thoughts
lot,
on
no.
geothermal?
It's brilliant if you can do it. If you're in the country and you can do horizontal wells, it's a lot cheaper than vertical wells, and it'll pay for itself real quick.
Because I was told that it would actually take not your generation, but maybe your children's generation will pay for it at that, like by that time.
Not at you mean as a payback?
Yeah, as a payback
on the system.
Yeah.
The upgrade to a geothermal, like a horizontal loop, is going to cost you an extra $40,000, and it'll pay for itself, depending on the square footage, like in about 5 years.
Really?
Yeah, very, very quick payback.
Well, a lot of the downtown structures now, all the buildings are all going geothermal from the lake, right?
Yeah, I'm told there's lake water being pumped right up through the city for commercial.
For commercial
Yeah.
applications, yeah.
Yeah, the residential still the vertical wells, which are expensive.
Because you just got to keep on going further and further down because you don't have the
square
space,
footage,
right? That's why,
Yeah.
yeah. Because you got to create quite a bit of well system, right, for that loop.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the math is, but you end up, for a regular house, you might end up with 4 or 5 vertical wells. They all have to be 10 feet apart, and nobody really has a backyard or front yard that big
So
anymore.
here's my thing, I guess. So you're going to save all this money doing geothermal, but what's powering it? The pumps.
Well, it's electric, right?
Right. So are you not, isn't it just a wash? You know, what you saved here, I just spent on spinning these pumps all day long with the hydro?
Not at all. No.
No?
No. Mathematically, it works out. You're saving money even over like a high efficiency gas furnace.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, Ontario's, we're going clean, right? Your power comes from Niagara Falls or nuclear, and if you can do
So if that's the
heat
case,
pumps-
why do we have some of the highest hydro rates in the country?
You're asking me.
I'm asking you because I mean, I don't know if you know it, but I always ask those questions. But then I see an infrastructure of TTC streetcars all over the place that aren't the most efficient, in my opinion. And maybe that's contributing to why we have the highest hydro rates in the country.
We're paying for that?
I don't know. We're paying for a lot of electricity, but like you just said, we have Niagara Falls.
But I mean, there's brownouts everywhere.
Why
in
do we
this
have
city now.
Yeah.
Etobicoke has probably 3 or 4 brownouts a year, or even 3 in the summer when everybody's got the air conditioning.
Technically, we should have clean energy. We should have clean energy, but we don't.
We have clean energy. It's the hydro from the falls is clean, right?
Yeah.
Just don't have enough.
Just well, we got to pay for those pensions for all the retiring
That's right. Hydro guys.
hydro guys. So that's where your money's really going.
Okay, so if a client comes to you and you guys start talking about HVAC, because we all know that HVAC is not the most beautiful conversation. It's not like talking about kitchen countertops and
You know,
how do you guys sell them? How do you sell them?
I might disagree because I think now it's becoming.
Is it?
I think so.
Clients are getting that
Yeah,
savvy that they want to have some conversations about.
The last
Really?
Yeah, the last conversation I went and had potential client we're looking at. It's a big job. It's 16,000 square feet. Dan priced it all out, and so when I went and had my meeting with them, I said, "Look, we need to talk about this HVAC because it's like $300,000." And she didn't flinch, and she goes, "Yeah, I don't think what has been drawn up or engineered is enough or is right." And I was kind of surprised that she said that to me, like, "Oh,
She knew
okay.
that was coming.
Yeah, and I said, "Well, that's the reason why I want to talk to you, because we don't think it's right either, and this is what we think." But that was a big topic of conversation right away. I mean, it does run the house,
Yeah.
and it's a big ticket. So, I think that would be a big conversation.
If you're building a custom house, it means you've probably already lived in a few homes you were not comfortable in.
Right.
So you just want to make sure that your dream house is, you're actually going to be comfortable in it,
Yeah.
and you're not going to be up at night sweating in the summertime.
Your 11 bedrooms and your 15 bathrooms and
11 en suites. Is it true that, I guess, when you get to that level, or even, I'm just thinking 3,000 or 3,500 square feet, most people, I'm surprised, don't even crack open the windows when they start changing from season to season. They just literally go from heating to cooling.
A lot of people just have the thermostat on auto and keep the house sealed up. You got fresh air from the HRV.
But isn't it nicer to crack open all the windows come springtime or come summertime? And
Well, not if you have allergies. So
true. Okay.
people like to lock that house up and clean the air, and they've got equipment that
Dude,
makes it really nice in there.
you can't open a window from your cell phone.
Not yet. Not yet. I bet you any money it's coming. If you can open up your front door, you can open up your garage.
Jesus.
It is coming. Windows are going to be Wi-Fi enabled. They will be, I guarantee you. I bet you they're doing it right now.
Probably.
Amazon's listening right now. You're gonna get an email, Jim.
Here's a window. Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi enabled. So they really are. They because of those reasons, right? But doesn't it feel stuffy inside? Like I don't know. I like fresh air, but I don't have allergies.
If your HRV's bringing in that fresh air.
Shouldn't.
It's
Yeah.
like it's an open window, and then your filters are purifying it, and your humidifier's adding humidity, and it's coming to you perfect. So the environment in your house is nice, and you go outside and have to deal with allergies or.
So I get a lot of phone calls from some guys in India trying to sell me duct cleaning services. I'm sure that you guys have gotten these calls before, because lots of guys.
And they're in your area.
And they're in my
I'm in your
area.
area.
Always just around the corner.
Do we still have to clean our ducts? I don't know if do we have to?
I tell
right?
people you should clean your ducts after you've done any
Construction.
renovating or construction, and then if you've got a good filter in there, 5-inch thick filter, MERV 11 to 13, no dust is getting to you.
Yeah.
So I don't recommend duct cleaning after you've
Well,
done
especially
it,
in a
and
new custom home, you do not need it.
you don't need it.
Unless the contractor cranks the thing up and uses it during construction. We don't.
Which you don't.
Yeah.
You
Right.
tape off the vents and then you do your
Well, we don't
construction.
even use it. We just use construction heat.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah.
So I can tell Govinder I don't need this stuff then, right?
But he's just around the corner. Come on.
Around the corner in New Delhi is where he's at, okay? I just find it strange. But
Listen,
yeah,
going back to with the construction heat, and just to talk about these net zero ready homes that we did. We had a construction heater in the basement in the middle of the winter on 126 Wimbledon. 45, 43, 4,400 square feet.
Yeah.
How many BTUs on the heater? Is it a big boy or a small boy?
No, it wasn't that big. It was just one of those beat up construction with the flame.
Yeah, yeah.
The house was 70 degrees.
So nice.
But there's no ductwork in the house. It was already
See,
drywalled.
that's comfortable
and sealed,
construction working weather.
right? So it was in the basement. What my point is, it got up right into the second floor and
spaces.
everything.
Yeah.
And it was like 70 degrees, and the guys were working.
Yeah, in a lot of the homes, once you've insulated them and sealed
Done.
them up, you plug in an electric heater and
There you
use
go.
it as a construction heater.
Yeah,
It's more than comfortable.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So you don't
As soon as
have to
you're sealed in.
use, the new furnace and everything else. You just wait, get it all in there. You don't have to clean anything.
If you are going to move air with the furnace, make sure you keep that expensive filter in there and save the furnace from
Yeah.
all that dust.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the genius clients that change the stove hood last minute after all the HVAC's been done. And they, for whatever reason, were at a
Put in the
restaurant.
super sucker.
And they put on the 1200 CFM 8-inch or 10-inch. That rattles your brain, right, Dan? Because it affects HVAC now.
Yeah, you're going to put a 1200 CFM negative pressure into that house every time you turn it on. But how often are you cooking with and churning that fan right
Fish.
up to 1200, right?
Fish.
They're usually,
Fish. Shoot it out to your neighbor.
That house we're doing, he's going to be doing that.
He's going to be
he
doing
will.
fish.
He cooks, right?
The hood's 11 feet wide.
The hood's 11 feet wide.
He's got a 5-foot, he's got a 60-inch wolf and a 48-inch wolf side by side. Then
Two fans.
that's a
right?
two
turbine.
fans and then a
then-
walk thing, right?
And then a third hood, yeah, over
And
the
that's got what,
island.
an 8-inch or 10-inch duct line?
10.
Two 10-inch and then an 8-inch over the island.
But
yeah.
that
Oh, yeah.
affects your HVAC, right?
hugely. Oh yeah, the air's got to come from somewhere.
Don't you have to do a compensating damper or something? So when they use it, it closes parts of the house, or how does that work?
You just open the front door to the house whenever you want to turn the exhaust fan on.
But if you don't open it before you turn it on, you won't open the door because it won't allow you to open
won't
the
be
door.
able
All the,
close it
all
again.
the furniture will be stuck in the fan.
But that's basically what happens.
Yeah,
People
and-
don't understand that that's what happens.
You know, some of these homes we put in makeup air systems, so they actually are bringing. And whenever you turn that fan on high speed, another fan comes on, drags in air from outside, conditions it, dumps it into the return air system, and then your furnace delivers it to the house.
I get it.
Pretty techy, eh?
It is. It's hugely techy. That's how I learned that from why the what's the thing coming into buildings? The door, the revolving door. What was it called?
Right? Yeah. A revolving door.
A
I
revolving
think it's
door,
called.
whatever. That was designed based on large scale HVAC designs. Because if you don't have a revolving door and you got the HVAC system going on, there's no way physically you can open up a swing door. The only way you can get into a structure is by going a revolving door,
Right,
because
okay.
you're not
The vacuum.
breaking the vacuum. And that's where it came from. But nobody ever wants a revolving door in their home.
Hey, well,
I think there's
gotta
a
be
joke
the
there
first.
somewhere.
I'm sure somebody's going to be doing that. But yeah, it's funny that and you're right. Do you really need that 1200 CFM hood? Like, I don't know why you need it.
Yeah, it's usually 300-400 is
more than
fine,
enough, right?
and
More
then
than enough.
600 is ridiculous, and some of these are 12 and up. So bigger's better. Come on,
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Smarter is better,
true.
right? If it's big, sure. If it's small,
Yeah,
if it's smarter,
design it properly, and
yeah, that's all it is. I've always referred to the HVAC design. Whenever there's any questions, I'm like, what's the design? I know that you guys have modified it as you go, as you're building, but it's a nice blueprint. It's a nice starting point. It's a nice foundation. But at least if you have all the information, like you said, the clients need to give up what they're thinking appliance-wise. It's important to know the size of the appliances, the consumption of the appliances.
Well, you get into big trouble with fireplaces when you bring these houses under negative pressure.
Yeah.
If it's a wood-burning fireplace, it just draws all that air
Forget
down the
it,
chimney.
Yeah.
So we recommend that you do a sealed combustion fireplace. But a lot of these people are putting in gas logs in these fireplaces and then churning on their kitchen exhaust while they're having a party, and all the fumes that's supposed to be going up the chimney are coming into the house. And
Because that's what's going to happen. You've got a hole in the chimney in the fireplace, and now you've got a machine that's basically a huge vacuum,
Yeah.
and it's just going to suck all that. And then why is the house all smoky? Why is there fire? Like, why is it?
why does it always smell like a fireplace in your house? Because
well,
the
that's
air's
the
coming
reason
down
why.
the chimney.
Because your house is the fireplace.
Yeah, yeah.
But you get the gas fireplace where you're required to bolt the damper open on the fireplace because it's a gas log set in a
And
traditional
they're all sealed
fireplace.
now. They're all sealed.
And it's if you're not using the sealed fireplace, that's cold air just falling down that chimney all winter
Yeah,
long.
at that point. Yeah, exactly.
They love the look of it, and it looks fantastic, but it's negatively efficient.
Go electric.
Fireplaces?
Yeah.
The romantic side of
You can
it.
still go gas.
No,
but
now
sealed combustion.
you can plumb them and they'll have steam, and the steam looks like like smoke.
No, I can't. I've
Can't
seen,
do it
I
yet?
can't do the electric. I can't. I can barely. I like the wood burner, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go get the white Braun hood fan from Home Depot and put that in there. That's with 3 speeds. You know what I mean? That's all it is.
That's all you need.
That's all you need, right? 4-inch line. No, it's not. No, I'd upgrade a tiny bit more than that, but not a 1200 CFM. That's insane.
Dude, that's what people put in. This is what we go and put in for people.
But most restaurants don't even have that.
And most of the people won't even use it.
So it's just a show off?
Yep.
Does it frustrate you, Jim, when you put in this beautiful kitchen and nobody cooks?
I don't cook that much, so it doesn't frustrate me. But I mean, hey, it's good for us. We just built a beautiful home, and we get to we get our bragging rights. I mean, the house that we're doing now for this client, he's going to use every bit of.
He's a cook. He's a chef.
He's a cook, and like his whole front of his existing house. The addition we built on was just a family room for him, but the existing part of the house is all kitchen. Wow. And that's the 11-foot, range with the hood, and then he's got that other thing, that island where they tap a neck. What do you call it?
Oh, Japanese.
The Japanese thing.
Yeah, the Japanese cooking area. I know what you're talking
he's
about.
got that too.
Dan, you ran all the gas for that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of gas lines in that house.
Then we brought another air conditioner.
Yeah.
The guy thought the air was not going to be cool enough when he's cooking.
Just an air conditioner blowing on him while he cooks.
Kind of like the one you talked about
Really?
earlier, yeah. Up in the ceiling.
That's his hobby. That's what he loves to do. So
That's his hobby.
What was the size of the gas line that you brought into the house? 2-inch?
there's a 2-inch main down the
main.
side of the house,
Yeah.
that goes to
You should see it.
all the stuff.
It's
That's
huge.
massive, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been to that house, and it's not a massive house,
No.
right? But that must have been tricky to run all your lines in there.
It's not too bad. You use Diamondback flex lines to all the appliances off the.
Okay.
Set up a manifold and run from there.
Nobody's doing hard pipe anymore?
No, you
Just
bring
on the
your main
outside.
and hard pipe just because it'll carry more gas than the flex lines.
Okay.
But so we usually do our main black iron to the manifold and then run out with Diamondback or flex line.
Yeah, I do like the flex line.
We got a 400 amp service coming in this thing too.
He's upgraded to commercial now. What is he using all the power for? Not for the cooking.
Yeah, he has to have it. Everything is power in that house.
400 amp service. That's commercial. He's upgrading to commercial.
So we worked it out. He's got 280 amps. So there's no 300.
Come inside the house?
If he turns
Everything on at the same time.
which I still don't get, but we were told that he had to upgrade. So
It's going to be like a Christmas vacation house, man.
yeah. Yeah. He's got power bollards out there so nobody can steal his cars. They pop up, 3 of them.
Are you kidding me? He's got those things?
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah.
How do they work? Power, electrical?
I don't know, but who knows? The way they've been put in probably won't work. We don't. The guy who's doing all that work.
That's a different story. That's a different podcast.
It's a whole other podcast.
But how does they work by electricity?
Yeah.
Or hydraulic? Or I don't know how.
No,
by
they had them
electricity.
brought in from China. I had to go pick them up, and
How much do they weigh? They looked heavy.
yeah, they're pretty heavy. So there's 3 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, and then he'll just this thing and
Pum,
3 of
pum,
them
pum.
will come right up. Yeah.
He needs a bigger garage. Is what he's
know,
just got
right?
the 1-car garage. That's the.
The guy's got everything. He's just got his G-Wagon, and he just picked up his Porsche, and his brother across the street's got his Ferrari, and 8 cars, and his brother's building a new house, so it's going to be up there, another 8,000 square foot place. Probably it's going to be the double basement because he needs a place for 8 cars.
Elevator.
He's got to put his toys down underground.
Yeah, he's got to get his
there.
toys down. So I saw the property. He's bought it already. It's all ready to go.
And it'll fit? Like, is it 8,000 square feet or is it?
Oh, no, it's just it's a tear down.
And then make an 8,000 square foot house on it?
Yeah.
Wow. You guys are bidding on it?
Oh, no, he's still a year away from even getting drawings.
Oh, okay.
Hired Lauren Rose, I think, is who we do a lot of work with. And then I think they're also working with another big international design firm. They're working hand in hand together with it, so be interesting. So the word is. So I mean, I don't know exactly. Be interesting. Don't know if I might be retired by the time it comes out.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
I guess just to wrap it up here, Dan, like, what do you think of all the youngin' guys coming in? I'm assuming that all your offspring, they're hardworking. But what about the guys in general in the industry? Because I know that Jim and I, we've had this conversation a few times, and we're probably going to do a podcast where most of your team is up in their age bracket, right? But you've got a lot of young guys, and it's funny that I was asking you about IG and social media, and you don't play that game, but a lot of guys that are in their 20s and now pushing their 30s play that social media game. What are your thoughts on those young guys?
Like I said, most of our guys are our own kids. And our trade in particular is because all the licensing you need, you've got to be smart. You got to know what you're doing. Now with all the hydronics that we get into and the pump stations and how that all interacts, it's an interesting trade. And these kids are smart and they're very engaged. They're not doing it thinking this is sort of an easy life. I can go.
No, HVAC is difficult.
It's a real trade.
It's a thinking
trade.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, it's a serious thinking trade.
Yeah, if you don't want to go to work and apply yourself, it's the wrong trade. You got to really apply yourself and take courses. It costs money to get your gas fitter licenses, so you got to be serious about it and really apply yourself. They're smart kids, and they seem to be really enjoying it. Like you learn really, really quick whether or not you're going to make it.
You got your guys.
In our trade.
Your boys are good. It's fun to watch them, and because they are young and they have the right attitude of the older guys, right? But they're there. But
they're there. That's why
the old man there.
They're right there.
Right
they got to impress.
Yeah.
And I got my theories, but I'm assuming you and the boys and the siblings, you guys are all Milwaukee tool boys. I'm assuming.
There's a lot of Milwaukee tools.
What's a tool?
Yeah.
You guys have to be red, no?
Of course.
HVAC is red. That's just how it is, right? Yeah. So, okay. I was just curious about that.
I don't know. Is that your sponsor? Is that
no, it's not. It's not actually, right? But I have my
what I
theory. I have my theory about which trades use which brand tools. And I have yet to meet an HVAC person who does not use Milwaukee.
I think I see the guys with DeWalt, so I don't know.
I wouldn't hire them. That's just
You
me,
guys
man.
got a lot of Milwaukee. I see a ton of red from you guys.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, all
yeah,
the pressing now, right? So all the, I mean, that stuff is all impressive. I love all that stuff now.
yeah, we're using the Pro Press.
Yeah. And Milwaukee's kind of got that corner, right, regarding all the fittings and everything. So, or all the clamps, right?
The clamps, yeah, it makes for a really nice clean system. There's a bit of an investment up front, but then the jobs go quicker. They look way, way better as well.
You guys still solder?
You have to sometimes.
Sometimes,
so, yeah,
eh?
you do a little bit of everything.
Because I don't know,
It's usually on the AC unit.
on the AC lines you solder.
Yeah, you're sulfloss soldering on the ACs, and then regular solder on the plumbing lines, plus the Pro Press.
When was the last time, Jim, you saw a plumber pull out the torch?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
They don't do it anymore, right? It's in the van.
Everybody's all packs.
It's all packs, eh?
Yeah.
Crimp.
Yeah.
There's something nice about it.
I just don't like when the PEX comes out of the wall for the toilet.
Oh,
They
I
don't
can't
put it
stand
in.
that.
I hate that.
It just looks flimsy.
Yeah, I asked our guy to put give
The
me
copper
give me
stuff
the
out.
copper out. Yeah.
Or even go a step further and just get the Kohler, the angle supply, and just pop that in there with the
Could do that.
MPT.
Yeah.
That's all. But that's not the plumbing question. Okay, so Dan, we're going to wrap it up. So Tropical Heating and AC, www.tropicalheatinghvac.com. And I got this
Watch for Instagram someday.
No, someday. The kids will take
do
it.
Yeah.
So we've got the 12 questions of construction for you, all right? So
Again, I didn't study.
No, there's no study here. There's no right and wrong. These are really simple questions. We just want to have some fun here. Dan, what is your favorite construction word?
It's 4 letters, but it starts with F, not H.
Everybody beats me to that one, man. We're getting to that. What is your least favorite construction word?
Extra.
What
Also 4-letter word.
it can be a 4-letter word. What turns you on in construction?
New stuff. Looking at the new
New tech.
technology coming in. Yeah.
I guess last year we missed what was the HVAC plumbing show? PMX? No, was it last year?
I'm drawing a blank. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it PMX? No, what the hell is it?
PMS.
No, it's not PMS. every 2 years. What the hell is it? It's the HVAC show.
Mechanical.
No, it's a mechanical show. I've been to it a couple of times, but it's only every 2 years. But I think we missed it either this year or we missed it last year. If it was this year, it didn't happen.
I stopped going to shows years ago.
Oh, really? Huh? So where are you getting all your tech information from? The kids?
The kids are suppliers as well. All these pieces of equipment are now variable speed. Even the air conditioners are all going modulating, variable.
But the manufacturer's got it. They're upgrading you all the time too, right?
Constantly.
Yeah.
They're Lennox is very, very good.
Yeah.
Keeping you up to speed with the courses and
Yeah,
servicing.
because they're making their products better, right? They have to. They have to maintain them. What turns you off in construction?
Nothing.
Nothing turns you off in construction?
Parking in Toronto. There
Parking's
you
a
go.
pain.
That's
It
a
is.
good one. True.
Parking's a pain. Yeah, we don't like that one. What is your favorite curse word? It could be on its own or in a phrase.
I don't curse.
Okay. What is your favorite vehicle? Car, truck, bike, boat, whatever.
Oh, the Ford F-150, right?
Oh, he's a Ford guy,
Isn't
yeah?
that?
Poor guy.
What's your
They're all
least
Ford
favorite?
guys.
What's your least favorite vehicle?
My shoes, walking. Who wants to walk?
What construction sound or noise do you love?
The lunch truck when the
horn.
blows his
I haven't
horn.
heard one of those in a long, long time, and I do crave their veal sandwiches, I must admit.
Yes, I like Pavlov's dog when that horn sounds. Gotta go get my cookie.
Get your cookie. I used to get those hot honey buds.
The honey bun.
Oh,
You know that one day they will disappear, huh?
yeah.
They will disappear, those trucks. I'm sorry to say, but they
Are you
will.
allowed to have one with COVID these days? I don't think
Probably
so.
I don't
not,
know.
right?
Same with the guy who does the scale, all the sharpening. That guy's
Yeah.
going to disappear
He's
one day.
still around.
They're still. I saw one. I saw one
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
But they're going to disappear too.
He's about 150 years old.
Yeah. What construction sound or noise do you hate?
Construction noise, do I hate? The homeowner coming into the job site
Screaming.
yelling. No, I'm kidding.
I was waiting for something good. Nothing?
No.
No?
What's to hate about construction noise?
Ask Jim.
Those kids playing their radios so loud all day on the site, right?
Yeah, that makes no sense because
Playing
that's
their
dangerous.
Motorhead, yeah.
What profession, other than your own, would you like to attempt?
Woodworking. I always liked the carpenters that frame up the houses and even the finishing woodwork. Love the smell of the wood when they're cutting wood on the site. Yeah.
I was doing Poplar all day today.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I was covered in it.
That doesn't have any smell.
Poplar?
Does it?
Are you kidding me? Try ripping that on a saw and a miter and a router, a trimmer.
Cedar, like with 5
I love
minutes.
smell of cedar.
I'm like stuffed up.
Oh, I
eyes
love
are
cedar.
watering.
I love cedar.
Yeah, I mean it smells great, but
What profession would you not like to do?
HVAC.
It's time for a break. Can I get out of this one?
No, it doesn't have to be construction related. It could be anything. What profession would you not like to do?
Male stripper would just, that would. I know Jim would be good at it.
Oh, yeah.
It's not
Well,
my
he's,
thing.
he's twice Sunshine Boy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Is he really?
He's twice Sunshine Boy.
runner up before the year. I'll have you
Look
know.
at that, eh?
Now you're dating yourself.
I'm so kidding.
Sunshine
Jesus.
Boy. They don't still do that, do they?
I don't know. I haven't cracked open that. Do they still do it? I don't know.
I don't know.
And the last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Welcome. Come on in. Hopefully.
Dan, thanks so much, man. I always love talking HVAC. Honestly, I like learning new things and trying new ideas. And you guys have a solid crew, right? So everyone, check them out. Tropical Heating NAC, www.tropicalheatinghvac.com.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to add there, Jim?
No, that's great. I think it's good that we need to talk about more of the mechanical side.
I like that you said that
things,
clients were actually bringing up this conversation.
Yeah, no, they are. They're getting more and more into the job, I guess, or just the information's out there, right? So they know. I mean, everybody wants the comfort. It really boils down to the comfort of your home.
Yeah, it's important.
And if you're going to go spend $1 million on a house, then got to work.
Yeah, I'm glad when they go on the internet and do some research and actually have questions. Some people hate that, but I like it. I like it when they
Discuss options.
Yeah.
What's the best way to handle
when
this
they know
house?
what's out there and
for sure.
just want some good advice. And
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So catch Jim on IG. So it's Jim Caruk on IG, and then also carukhall.com. No, Caruk Hall Construction. No, what is it?
Yeah.
No, I'd read you. I'm asking you. So we're at Caruk Halls, but it's carukhall.com.
Right.
And then it's also on IG, Caruk Hall Construction, right? On IG.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Okay, Dan, thanks very much. Thanks, Jim, very much. And we'll tune in next time.
Next week?
thank you.
Yeah,
guys.
next week.
All right.
Take care. Out of here now.